Good morning. I'm Larry Sidelinger for LCTV, and today we're talking Town Talk at the Central Lincoln County YMCA here in Damariscotta. And my special guests today are Casey Clark Kelley, the interim CEO of the YMCA, and Karen Ann Hagar, who is the Community Outreach Development Director here at the YMCA. Ladies, thank you very much for setting in with this time. I've got some questions for you. As you know, that's what this Town Talk is all about. So we'll start with you, Casey, first. You've come into this as the interim. A previous director has left, and you're taking charge, taking the reins. What is your background and history with the Y?
Yes, thank you, Larry. We appreciate you guys having us today to talk. My background with the Y started about 6 years ago at this location. I've been a Y member all my life through the Bath Y, but moved to Jefferson about 13 years ago and eventually transitioned to the CLCY. Started as a group exercise instructor, did some work with the chronic disease programs here, and eventually switched to a full-time role here about a little over 2 years ago as the Healthy Living Director. From that, about a year later, I became the Director of Operations, and that's where I was up until the end of January when Megan Hamlet decided to take her new opportunity with the YMCA Alliances of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. And so as our board was pursuing the different opportunities for our Y's leadership, they decided to move me into the role of interim while they start a CEO search, which is ongoing at this time.
So you got a great opportunity here, but at the same time, you got the biggest crisis we've ever faced, probably in anybody's history here, was this COVID-19 crisis. How has it impacted your YMCA and your ability to function?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't expected. Nobody was thinking that a pandemic was going to hit our community and our world while I was in this interim leadership role, but we have such a strong leadership team on staff already, as well as a very engaged and supportive board. So they've helped us all steer the ship systematically and just making the right decisions that are best for the community. But unfortunately, as most people know at this time, we did have to make the hard decision to close the doors of our Y. Our last day open was March 16th. It was a Monday, and we wanted to give our members notice so they could come in and clean out their lockers, do what they needed to do. But then also just work on transitioning to closing the facility. So on March 18th, we did close the main facility. We did leave the child care facility open because we did want to provide child care support to the families that are in need and who need to continue to go to work. However, we only ended up leaving it open for about a day because families are making the decisions that are right for them. They are social distancing their kids, so they're staying home. They're not getting that exposure. So we became completely closed on Wednesday of that week, and we've been trying to align with the school system. So we've been making our closure decisions step by step in alignment with them. And as they closed for 2 weeks to begin with, and then added an additional week, we extended our closure as well, which is how we want to do it because we want to make decisions smart and just make sure we're making the best decision for our staff as well. We want to be able to support them in the meantime. But at the same time, so much of our staff is program-based, and we're not offering any programs at this time.
Karen Ann, you too have been with the Y for a number of years. I don't know how long you've been here. It seems like since the Y was built, Karen Ann's been here. But as a community outreach director, first of all, tell me a little bit about your background, the folks at home, about your background and your history of the YMCA.
Sure. So, like you said, I grew up here, so this building was very familiar to me. Penny at the front desk would always keep us in line.
Our friend Penny DeValla.
Right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
And so I grew up in this building. Our Nobleboro Central School took their gym classes here because we just had a little cafeteria before it was a Y. But then I relocated, started a family up in Rockport, and so I started my Y career 20 years ago, and quickly went into an outreach and youth and teen coordinator there, and then came back home to take care of my mom when she became sick, and I approached the old CEO out in the parking lot and knew that I wanted to be here. I'm a Y girl, and told him to get ready because I was going to work here.
Here comes Karen Ann.
Yeah.
So how is the YMCA supporting the community through this crisis?
We are, like Casey said, our doors are closed for programming, but one of the fantastic things about the Central Lincoln County YMCA is we do collaborate a lot, and we do believe in outreach. So my job has been ongoing, and we have several partners out in the community that we collaborate with, and the newest one is the Lincoln County Relief collaboration. That's the initiative that's taking place, and that is encompassing businesses, Espernalds. It started with a little gift of donation, and you've covered that nicely, and then it expanded to incorporate, all of us, the whole town. So,
and we'll get back into that. But first, I want moving forward, and I'll go back to you, Casey, for a second here. I'm sure you each have priorities in this handling this pandemic. Casey, yours on the management side, priorities.
So priorities at this point is our staffing. Of course, we have such a great full staff team, but at this time, we can't necessarily sustain all of them financially through the closure, and so we're working on that step by step as we look at how long the closure may last. So we're evaluating that. At this time, we have furloughed most of our part-time staff, some of our full-time program staff. At this point, we have an essential management team still working, but we'll continue to evaluate as that goes on, because our other priority is our financial health. And the community has invested so much in this new facility that we have to do everything we can to protect it and to protect that structure.
And I would assume your employees are eligible for the unemployment benefits or whatever the government's offering?
That's correct. So all of our employees that need to or want to have already started filing for unemployment as of their last day with us.
And Karen Ann, your priorities on the child outreach development side of it, I know you're really involved with this. Tell us a little more about the food program that has just blown up here with the help of Ricky and Rosie at Fernald's and Jane Gravel, and how the Y is involved in that.
Sure, it's a program in the works, and there's more to be revealed. We're ironing out all of the logistics of it, but boots are hitting the ground already with connections. Jane had started it down at Main Street Grocery, and now we're funneling. Chloe Maxim is involved, and she's got a great call-out system that's happening. And then we're funneling those names up to Charlie Richardson up at Camp Kiev.
And that was my next, leads me to my next question.
Yes.
Is you've got Kiev involved.
Yes.
Are any of the schools involved with this yet?
Yeah, the schools are involved in the school. Actually, we had 3 volunteer teachers out here, because Healthy Lincoln County also is based here. We host them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 12. Families that have children 18 and younger can come pick up meals at this time in the schools. The teachers are actually out in our parking lots helping to serve those meals. So
are you still gathering food for the food pantry at this time?
Yeah, we will continue to do our fill the bus as those needs arrive. I'm just waiting on standby, and the food pantries are letting me know what their needs are. In fact, Jefferson, I reached out to Jefferson Food Pantry, and they have, they're low on like canned meats and canned meals.
So where does somebody bring the food? Do they bring it here to the Y still, or do they take it to you?
They can take it to their local food banks, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And that's
for now. And then if the need arises, we'll park our bus right at Main Street Grocery.
Now, how does Healthy Kids partner in with the Healthy Food Network?
Healthy Lincoln County?
Healthy Lincoln County, excuse me, I got it right.
Sure, they typically do our community's meals in the summertime, and they were able to start now so that we can get food out.
Have you got any idea of how many people you've been able to reach out or connect with that need supplies?
I don't know the total for each location, but Healthy Lincoln County certainly would have those totals. I know they're preparing for about 50 here that are picked up here at the CLCYMCA.
At the YMCA. Great. So getting back to your staff just a second, Casey, do you have any idea, and probably help me here, when you expect to be able to bring them back, or is it just a day-to-day like the rest of us are waiting?
Right. It's so we just heard yesterday that AOS 93 has extended their school closure until essentially close to the end of April. And so that's going to bring our board, we have a task force of the board that's meeting to discuss all these decisions. And so that extension conveys to us that there's a need to discuss closure through the end of April. And so we'll bring that task force together today to discuss next steps for staffing priorities. And so
you don't have a reopening date right now, though, do you?
So we keep it fluid. We do have a reopening date, which was based on the mandate from the state of reopening on April 9th. So currently that is our reopen date, but we just encourage everyone to be patient with us. It is something that is going to change as we make the decisions that are best for the community.
It's a moving target here. Okay, let's talk a little bit. You have a great relationship with the YMCA down in Boothbay. Tell us a little bit about how that relationship works.
Yeah, we actually, the Boothbay Y is probably one of our strongest partners. They are within the same county as us, so we are very intertwined. We have shared staff that work at both organizations. We have shared programming that we offer through both. We have complete reciprocity with our members. So if a member from Boothbay wanted to take a paid program here at CLC, they could do it at a member rate as opposed to a non-member rate. We've partnered on funding opportunities. We partner on all our chronic disease, evidence-based health intervention programs. And at this point, we even have a joint task force between the boards of our two Ys, where we have key leadership staff as well as key board members working together on joint initiatives so we can serve the community as a joint effort as opposed to each of us working separately.
Does that also include like different programs that you can take a program from here and take it to Boothbay and back and forth?
Yeah, we actually, just earlier this year, we released our first joint program guide. So a member from either Y could pick up that program guide and see all the opportunities that are available to them through both locations.
That's a great benefit.
It is a great benefit to having you have a membership at one Y, but you can act as though you're a member at two Ys. It's similar to, we don't have the pool here, but Boothbay has the pool, so our members can access that at any time, just as if they were a Boothbay member.
What do you see as the greatest benefit to that partnership?
It makes us stronger as a whole. If we can serve, we're working within the same county, so if we can serve the county jointly with streamlined efforts, it just makes us overall healthier. We are such a collaborative team here at CLC and Boothbay as well that it removes the competition factor. We are independent organizations, so we don't share financials. We're both working towards the same goal. We want a healthier, financially stronger organization, but when we work together, that benefits us more than trying to compete for the same services.
Well, I know as a member of the Pumpkin Fest Steering Committee, last year the Y stepped up big time to help us out with school buses. I run the transportation part and stepped up greatly with school buses. It was a huge help because and it brought people back and forth, so that was a great thing. Do you see increasing opportunities as being a member of this partnership, as a stronger being any opportunities there coming down the road by being a team rather than an individual going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the partnership has grown exponentially since Megan was in leadership at this Y, just because she previously worked for the Boothbay Y and there was just strong connections anyway. So it's increased year by year, and I believe it will continue to increase as we see the benefits of working more and more together. It's connecting our two communities, Boothbay and Damariscotta. We're in the same county, but we're also very different, and we serve a larger radius with all of our outskirting towns as well. So we can bring those two communities and all the ideas and happenings that are going on in both together. It just provides so much more opportunity for us all.
Karen, and this is a question and that I've always wondered. How many youths do you interact with. My granddaughter, a step-granddaughter, works in one of your youth leadership programs. Can you tell us a little bit about how many kids you are involved with on not necessarily a day-to-day, but a week-to-week basis, and tell us a little bit about that youth leadership program?
Yeah, sure. So I have about 5 of the middle schoolers that come in on Wednesdays for Y Leaders Club. And those kiddos are mentored by some of the high school leaders. We meet right at the high school, and there's close to 15 to 20 high school Y leaders.
That they interact with?
That they are out there doing good stuff out in the community. It's service learning, and they pick about 2 every Wednesday to come down and mentor the middle school Y Leaders Club.
So 2 of the high school kids come down and interact with these 4 or 5?
And that's the model of it, and I'm just there as a facilitator and to help them. Sometimes I'm still out and about in the building, and the high school mentors in those Leaders Club are helping.
You took a bunch of kids last fall, and like say my granddaughter Maya was involved in it. Can you tell us a little bit about where you went and about that whole program?
Yes, absolutely. We went to a Y camp in New York, and they went down and they just had 3 days of full activity of learning, service learning projects and sessions that they went to, and really got to network and learn other ideas of how to go back and serve your community.
And they learned the value of how to raise a little money to support this.
They certainly did. They were self-supporting through the whole way. They did pie sales, they did car washes, they were out in the community, really showing, work, not just taking money as a handout, but doing some work for that trip. They worked hard.
If you need money, you got to work. If you want more money, you got to work a little harder.
Yes.
That's right. Casey, do you see any openings in the Y in the near future here?
Openings as in staffing?
That's what the question says.
I think at this point we kind of have to
once you get back on your feet.
Reassess. So we talked about priorities. Main priorities at this point are our current staff and supporting them and making sure they feel comfortable coming back to work when it's time to reopen. And also just supporting our members. Our members are the heart of this organization. Without them, we wouldn't have an organization. They're our community, so we need to just make sure we're meeting the needs of our members, especially now while we're closed, because we want to stay connected to them. So we're offering as many virtual opportunities as we can through online fitness classes. We're doing live story time with our childcare kids. We are making phone calls. Lauren Over, our member services director, she's going through our entire membership list to go make those phone calls, checking in, just making sure everybody has what they need. We are a rural community, and a lot of people won't ask for help when they need it, so we want to make sure Lauren's calling our members to help out with Karen Ann, who's touching base with some of our higher risk families. We just want to keep that connection going and hope that when they come back we're just as strong as we were before we closed. So any opportunities for staffing in the future would have to be put on hold for now.
Of course, this has been a great opportunity for your custodial staff to really give the Y a once-over. What was your directive or orders to step up not that it's not clean, because this place is spotless all the time, but I'm sure you probably went to some extra measures.
We absolutely have, and being closed has provided an excellent opportunity for our facility staff to deep clean every inch of the facility, to taking all the dumbbells off the shelf and disinfecting each one of them individually, taking apart shelving units, cleaning them, putting them back together. They have really just been working constantly since the shutdown. Our facilities department is probably one of our hardest departments to keep staffed. We have excellent staff that have been with us a long time, but we also have a lot of turnover, so we're not always meeting the needs we have.
It's a big place. Now, I think people at home might be interested. As you know, we've been doing a lot of updates from the hospital, and they have in crisis mode all the time down there, talking with state crisis leaders or pandemic leaders. Have you had any contact with the hospitals and updates of what might happen if they had to convert the Y to a hospital?
Yeah, so we are actually in constant communication with Lincoln Health. It does aid us that the chair of our board, Cindy Wade, is the chief operating officer at Lincoln Health.
And also the crisis commander down there.
Yes, exactly. And so we have close connection with her, and she is providing us updates on anything crucial that we need to know. And also we have 2 other board members who work for Lincoln Health as well. So we feel we're very much.
Is that a weekly contact meeting with them, or daily? Or?
It's as needed. It's usually several times a week.
Several times a week. Closing statements. Karen Ann, your final thoughts on your whole experience here at the Y and moving forward.
Oh, the Y here is crucial to our community, and I've been brought up in a family that is all about community, and I think that it's important to remember that the Y is more than a gym, that we're a charity, and that piece is out there and it is vibrant right now, and I couldn't be more proud of our community.
And Casey, your final thoughts on this whole scenario. I don't know what else word to call it, but your final thoughts.
I would back up what Karen Ann said, is that we appreciate this community so much and the support that we've been given through this closure. We are a nonprofit, and we count on 3 revenue streams. One is program fees, one is membership dues, and one is fundraising. So right now, at this point, we're down program fees, but we can still pursue membership and fundraising. However, it's really hard to ask members to continue their membership for a facility that's closed. And so we're working with families as best we can and just putting holds on memberships, but we've had an outpouring of support from the community to just continue their memberships as is, because they'd like to continue the financial health of the Y. So I would just, close by saying thank you to everyone who supports the Y. We love our community, and we can't wait to be in the building together again.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you, Karen Ann Hagar, who is the Community Outreach Director here at the Y, Casey Kelley, who is, Casey Kelley, I've got it right, folks, it's just me, who is the Interim CEO, doing a great job in this really, really tough time. And folks, thank you for watching. I'm Larry Sidelinger for LCTV, and we've been talking Town Talk at the Central Lincoln County YMCA. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday right back here on LCTV.